Let me start with a hard truth that most people avoid. It's not your salary that's keeping you poor, it's your habits. You can earn more than ever before and still feel broke every single month. And the scary part, most people don't even realize they're trapped. Today, we're not talking about luck, background, or the economy. We're talking about the 9 money habits silently draining your future. And once you see them, you can't see them. Here's the first habit: spending without awareness. If money leaves your account and you don't know where it went, you are not bad with money. You're disconnected from it. Every wealthy person I've studied knows their numbers. Not obsessively, but intentionally. If you don't track your spending, you're letting your money make decisions for you. Awareness is the foundation of wealth, and without it, everything else collapses. The second habit is lifestyle inflation. Every time you earn more, your expenses rise to meet it. New phone, better car, more subscriptions, more eating out. On the surface, it looks like success, but underneath, it's financial stagnation. Wealth isn't built by looking rich. It's built by keeping the gap between what you earn and what you spend as wide as possible. If your lifestyle grows faster than your assets, you're running on a treadmill, not moving forward. Habit number 3 is avoiding financial education. Many people will spend years studying for exams, but 0 hours learning how money actually works. No one taught us about investing, taxes, or compound interest, but staying ignorant is a choice. Money rewards those who understand it. If you don't learn the rules of the game, you'll always be the one paying the price. The fourth habit is depending on a single income stream. One salary, one job, one source, and complete vulnerability. In today's world, relying on one income is risky, not safe. The wealthy don't work harder hours, they build multiple streams. Even a small side income can change how you think, how you save, and how you invest. Security doesn't come from a job, it comes from options. The fifth habit keeping you poor is using debt to fund a lifestyle, not assets. There's a big difference between debt that grows you and debt that traps you. Credit cards for clothes, gadgets, and holidays steal from your future to satisfy your present. Interest is working against you every single day. Until your money starts working for you, someone else's money will always be working on you. Habit number 6 is fearing investing. Many people say, I'll invest when I have more money. But that mindset alone is why they never get there. Investing isn't for the rich. It's how people become rich. Even small amounts, invested consistently, can grow into something powerful over time. The real risk isn't investing. It's doing nothing and hoping things magically change. The 7th habit is short-term thinking. Instant gratification is expensive. Buying now, enjoying now, scrolling now, while ignoring the future version of yourself who will pay the bill. Wealth is built by delaying pleasure, not denying it forever. Every financial decision you make today is a vote for the life you'll live tomorrow. Choose wisely. The 8th habit is comparing yourself to others. Social media has made everyone look successful, and comparison pushes people to spend money they don't have to impress people they don't know. You don't see their debt, their stress, or their financial reality. Run your own race. Quiet progress beats loud struggle every time. The 9th and final habit is the most dangerous: believing you're just bad with money. That belief becomes an excuse. Money management is a skill, not a personality trait. Skills can be learned, systems can be built, habits can be changed. The moment you take responsibility, you take back control. Most people believe that if they could just earn more money, their financial problems would disappear. That belief sounds logical, but it's one of the biggest lies keeping people stuck. The truth is uncomfortable but powerful. Your income does not decide your financial future. Your habits do. There are people earning 6 figures who live paycheck to paycheck, stressed, anxious, and one emergency away from debt. At the same time, there are people with average incomes quietly building wealth, stability, and freedom. The difference isn't luck or intelligence. It's how they treat money every single day. Think about this for a moment. If more income automatically meant more wealth, then everyone who got a raise would be financially free. But that's not reality. What usually happens is this: money comes in, spending increases, and nothing actually changes. A bigger salary often just funds a bigger lifestyle. New expenses replace old ones, and the cycle continues. This is why income without control is dangerous. It creates the illusion of progress while keeping you trapped in the same place. Here's the hook most people miss. Money doesn't disappear because you're irresponsible. It disappears because you're unaware. Small, repeated decisions shape your financial life more than any big paycheck ever will. Coffee here, subscriptions there, impulse purchases made when emotions are high. None of them feel significant in the moment. But over time, they quietly drain your future. Wealthy people aren't magically better earners. They're better decision makers. They pause before spending. They understand where their money is going. Awareness turns money from something that controls you into something you control. The moment you start paying attention, everything shifts. You stop asking, why am I always broke? And start asking, what is my money actually doing for me? That question alone changes behavior. When you know your numbers, your spending aligns with your priorities. You stop wasting money on things that don't add value and start directing it toward things that do. Control doesn't come from restriction, it comes from clarity. Another uncomfortable truth is that many people use money emotionally. Stress, boredom, comparison, and insecurity all show up in spending habits. Buying something new feels like progress, it feels like reward. But emotional spending trades short-term comfort for long-term stress. High earners fall into this trap just as easily as low earners, sometimes even faster. When income rises but discipline doesn't, financial pressure grows instead of shrinking. Real financial growth starts when you separate identity from spending. You don't need to prove success through purchases. You don't need to upgrade your lifestyle every time your income increases. Wealth is built in the gap between what you earn and what you keep. That gap is where freedom lives. Protect it, and you protect your future. Here's a powerful shift that changes everything. Start treating money like a system, not a feeling. Systems remove emotion from decisions. Automatic saving, intentional budgeting, and conscious spending aren't signs of limitation. They're signs of leadership over your own life. When your habits are strong, your income becomes a tool instead of a trap. Even a small income managed well can create momentum. And momentum, once it starts, is incredibly hard to stop. The biggest mistake people make is waiting. Waiting for a higher salary, waiting for the right time, waiting until life feels more stable. But habits don't magically change when income increases. They amplify. If you struggle with money now, more money will simply magnify the problem. If you master your habits now, even modest income can become powerful. The most important realization is this: you don't need a financial miracle. You need consistency. You need awareness. You need to decide that every pound or dollar you earn has a purpose. The moment you respect your money, it starts respecting you back. And once your habits change, your financial story has no choice but to follow. Most people are chasing the appearance of success instead of the reality of it. Expensive cars, designer clothes, luxury holidays, and a lifestyle that looks impressive from the outside have become the modern definition of making it. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Looking rich is often the fastest way to stay poor. The world rewards patience and discipline, not performance. Real wealth is quiet, slow, and often invisible for years before it becomes undeniable. One of the biggest traps is believing that success needs to be visible. Social media has trained people to equate spending with achievement. Every upgrade feels like proof that you're moving forward. But upgrades without ownership are illusions. A bigger house with a bigger mortgage, a better car with a longer loan, a luxury lifestyle funded by debt. None of this is progress. It's pressure. And pressure is not the same as power. Here's the hook most people ignore. The richest people in the room are rarely the loudest. They don't need to announce their success because their money is busy working for them. While others are spending to impress, they are investing to multiply. Discipline doesn't look exciting in the short term, but it creates extraordinary results over time. Quiet choices made consistently compound into outcomes that loud spending never can. Lifestyle inflation is seductive because it feels justified. You work harder, earn more, and reward yourself. There's nothing wrong with enjoying life, but problems begin when rewards become expectations. When your income increases and your expenses immediately rise with it, you erase the opportunity to build wealth. The gap between what you earn and what you spend is where assets are born. Close that gap and you delay freedom. protect it, and you accelerate it. True discipline isn't about deprivation, it's about direction. It's choosing long-term security over short-term validation. It's understanding that every pound or dollar you don't spend today can become an asset that pays you tomorrow. Assets don't care about trends, opinions, or appearances. They quietly generate income, grow in value, and create options. And options are what real success looks like. Another powerful shift happens when you stop outsourcing your confidence to material things. Many people spend not because they need something, but because they want to feel successful, respected, or ahead. But confidence built on consumption is fragile. It disappears the moment the money slows down. Confidence built on ownership, savings, and investments is solid. It doesn't fluctuate with trends or opinions. It grows stronger with time. Discipline also creates peace. When your lifestyle is below your means, money stops being a source of constant stress. Emergencies don't feel like disasters. Opportunities don't feel risky. You gain the ability to say no to things that don't align with your goals and yes to things that actually matter. That freedom doesn't come from earning more. It comes from needing less. People often underestimate the power of boring decisions, skipping unnecessary upgrades, driving a paid-off car, living in a home you can comfortably afford, investing consistently instead of chasing quick wins. These choices don't look impressive on the surface, but they quietly build a foundation that can't be shaken. Over time, discipline turns into leverage, and leverage turns into freedom. The irony is that the lifestyle most people want, freedom, flexibility, and security, comes from doing the opposite of what looks glamorous. It comes from patience when others rush, restraint when others indulge, and focus when others chase attention. When your money is building assets instead of appearances, you're not falling behind. You're positioning yourself ahead. And one day, without any announcement, the results will speak for themselves. The moment your financial life truly changes is not when you get a raise, inherit money, or discover a new opportunity. It changes the instant you take full responsibility for it. That idea is uncomfortable because responsibility removes excuses. It means you can no longer blame your job, your upbringing, the economy, or bad luck. But it is also empowering because the moment you accept responsibility, you gain control. And control is the starting point of every lasting financial transformation. Many people stay stuck because they believe their situation defines their ability. They say they are just bad with money, as if money management is a personality trait instead of a learnable skill. That belief becomes a mental ceiling. If you see yourself as incapable, you stop trying to improve. But here's the truth most people never hear. No one is born knowing how to manage money. Every financially confident person you admire learned through mistakes, education, and repetition. The difference is not talent, it's ownership. Taking responsibility means facing reality without judgment. It means looking at your bank statements, your debt, your spending patterns, and your habits honestly. Not to shame yourself, but to understand yourself. Awareness without responsibility leads to frustration. Responsibility without awareness leads to blind effort. When you combine both, progress becomes inevitable. You stop reacting to money problems and start designing solutions. Here's the hook most people avoid. Blaming feels easier than changing, but it keeps you powerless. The economy may be difficult, and your circumstances may not be fair, but responsibility doesn't mean denying reality. It means deciding to act anyway. Waiting for conditions to improve is a dangerous strategy because it places your future in someone else's hands. When you take responsibility, you stop waiting and start building. Responsibility also changes how you approach learning. Instead of avoiding financial topics because they feel intimidating, you lean into them. You learn how budgeting actually works. You understand why investing matters. You discover how compound growth rewards consistency, not perfection. Each piece of knowledge builds confidence, and confidence fuels action. Small actions repeated consistently reshape your financial identity. Another powerful shift happens when responsibility replaces hope. Hope without action is passive. Responsibility is active. It turns, "I hope things get better," into, "I will make this better." That mindset shift alone separates people who stay stuck from those who move forward. Even when progress is slow, responsibility keeps you moving. And movement, no matter how small, breaks cycles. Responsibility also brings discipline, not as punishment, But as self-respect, you stop making decisions that you will regret. You stop borrowing happiness from tomorrow to fund today. You begin asking better questions before every financial choice. Does this move me forward or hold me back? Is this aligned with the life I want to build? Over time, these questions become habits, and habits shape outcomes. One of the most underrated effects of taking responsibility is confidence. When you know that your actions matter, fear loses its grip. You stop feeling like money just happens to you. Mistakes become lessons instead of failures. Setbacks become feedback instead of proof that you're incapable. This emotional stability is what allows long-term wealth to be built without burnout or panic. People often wait for motivation before taking action, but responsibility works in reverse. Action creates motivation. Saving your first small amount, paying off one debt, or making your first investment may feel insignificant, but it rewires how you see yourself. You stop seeing yourself as someone who struggles with money and start seeing yourself as someone who is learning, improving, and progressing. When you fully accept responsibility for your financial future, something powerful happens. You stop asking who is going to save you. You realize you already have the most important asset, your ability to choose differently. And once that realization sinks in, poverty stops feeling permanent. It becomes a temporary condition, one decision away from change.